Hmm. Interesting. Oh, that's delayed, huh? Yo, what's up, Carter? Hmm. This is very interesting. Yo, my guy August. What's good, dude? It's been a minute. I'm trying to see. Hey, Colin, my boy. That's what's up. Huh. I'm trying to see figure out where I can find these comments and reply to them. It's kind of epic. Let's see. Here we go. Colin. Nice. Dude, Colin, when are you getting set apart, bro? You gotta let me know. Stewart. Oh, nice. Sweet, sweet. Am I wearing green? No, this is tan, beige. This is a ASOS shirt, I think. Elder Cook. Hey, Allie. Good to see ya. Dude, this is fun. This is this is pretty sick. Oh, right, because it's St. Patrick's Day. I totally forgot. Honestly, I literally forgot it was St. Patrick's Day like 3 times today. Oh well. Yeah, someone can come pinch me if they want. My boy Stuart. Okay. All right. I'm gonna get started here. So, welcome to Self Improvement That Sticks. This is a live series that I'm going to be doing every day at 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Each each week we're going to be going over a new book. Um, The book this week is The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. I had a lot of fun reading this book. It's super interesting, some really good principles. Um, and essentially, the goal is to just share some self-improvement things. We'll have each book will be broken into 6 different key concepts, things that I took away, things I really liked, and then we'll have a kind of like a Q&A session at the end as well. If you have any questions as to what the principle is, how it can be applied, the goal eventually at the end of this is for everyone to leave with an idea of how they can specifically implement a habit in order to actually go out and change. Um, so we'll make sure that we have some ideas from the concepts that we're talking about today as to how someone can specifically do that. And yeah, should be lots of fun. So um, today we're gonna be basically talking about what the 10x rule is and what it isn't. Um, so on if you have a copy of the book, I guess I didn't even put out a link. I'll send out a link on my story for um what the like Amazon affiliate code or something for the book. But on page 106 in this book, it basically explains what the 10x rule is and what it isn't. Um, so it says this. I'm just gonna read this over here. This is Grant Cardone, by the way. These are not my words. Um, he says that you want to expand with the goal of dominating your sector and getting attention by taking massive action. Only then you will be able to expand your contacts, influences, connections, and visibility with the goal of creating new problems. You know what? I actually don't like this section very much. I'm going to start with the other one. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. This is the 10x rule. Oh, yeah. What's your question? Calbra. What's your question? Just type it in the chat. Um, but while you're typing that, I'm gonna read this. So make your fire so big and so hot that others will have no choice but to sit around it in amazement. The 10x rule is all about action. Essentially, it's taking your goals and 10xing your goals, and then taking your action and 10xing your action as well. And that doing both of those things consistently will allow you to 10x your life. So here's some more about that. Make your fire so big and so hot that others will have no choice but to sit around it in amazement. You will never have all the answers, your timing will never be perfect, and there will always be obstacles and difficulties. However, you can always count on one thing: taking massive actions consistently and persistently, and then following up with more fourth degree actions, aka massive action, are the only ways to guarantee the success you desire. Always go all in on massive action. Let the rest of the world operate at the first 3 degrees of action, which are lower than massive action, and watch them spend their lives fighting over the bits and pieces left behind. Look around you and you will see the world filled with average people, average thinking, and at best, average actions. Take another look. What you will really see behind this acceptance of average are people who have given up on their dreams and who cease to live with a dynamic purpose. They are instead willing to settle for whatever their estimation of normal is. If you've spent any time with me, or any extensive time with me, I guess, you will know that I don't believe in normal. Normal doesn't exist. If you see someone and you think they're normal, you just don't know them well enough because everyone is weird. That's just a fact. When you're choosing the people whom you will learn from, look for the exceptional, those who stand out because of the way they approach their lives. Don't worry about how they are special or different from you. Focus on how they think and act and how you can duplicate that. Success is not a choice or an option. It's your duty to operate at the right level of thoughts and actions. That is Grant Cardone's personal opinion on success, which we'll be talking about his definition of success more tomorrow. Um, so follow through on your responsibility to leave a footprint on this planet so that when you are done and with your when you are done with your tour of duty, you will be remembered for approaching your life with nothing less than the biggest of dreams and the most remarkable actions. Remember, success is your duty, obligation, and responsibility, and by thinking at 10x levels and taking 10x actions, I am certain you will create more success than you have even dreamed of. Um, Oh, what's up, Curtis? Yes, normal doesn't exist. That's so true. Um, and I'm actually gonna reread these last couple sentences, and in your head, I want you to change the word success to the word change. So switch that up. So since we're Grant Cardone, he's a big money guy. He's already made his money. He's made lots of money. He's gonna keep making a lot more money because that's his drive. That's his mo. But for us, as we're trying to create self improvement, create change that actually sticks, um, the word success is going to have a little bit of a different meaning for us than it is for him. Um, so let me. Oh, what's up, Georgia? Weston. Nice. Oh, hey, Josh. Sorry, I'm just checking on all these people who are joining in here. This is pretty sweet. Um, okay, so I'm gonna read these um, last couple sentences again, and just change the word success to change. Um, so remember, change is your duty, obligation, and responsibility. And by thinking at 10x levels or 10 times levels and taking 10 times actions, I am certain you will create more change than you have even dreamed of. And so, kind of to go over that again, the 10x rule. Oh, his question's not working for him. That's so sad. Um, yeah, so 10x levels. The 10x rule has two parts, right? You set your goals at a 10x level. So you take where your current goals are and you multiply those by 10. Whatever that looks like for you as an individual is what we want to do. So take your goals, 10x them. And then look at the actions that you've been taking in order to achieve those goals and 10x those as well. One specific example that I have, so a couple years ago, when was this? This was actually like about 2 years ago. I started doing work for a roofing company, and when I got the initial call, all that my boss told me was just Google search property management companies near me and start calling them. That was basically all of the guidance I got for as to how I should go about finding more roofing jobs and creating more roofing sales. And so I started acting in that way. And I was doing a few different things. I was knocking some doors. Um, I was calling some companies. My efforts were kind of hit or miss over a bunch of different areas. Is my niece kissing my forehead weird? Honestly, there's way too much context in that situation. I don't have a very good answer for that. I'll let you figure it out. I trust your judgment. But yeah, so I started my efforts to actually take action and achieve my goal of just making a bunch of money doing roofing were, oh, that's your brother on Facebook asking your question. Okay. Well, the answer I gave to him is the answer I'll give to you. But I started doing a bunch of different things, trying to find something that worked to get roofing leads. And ultimately, I realized that my efforts were not focused enough in one area. And so then what I started to do was I gave up everything except just calling businesses to try to get them to work with us for roofing jobs. And I 10x'd my actions. I think before that I was working probably maybe 5 or 6 hours a day ish, maybe. I had maybe a little bit of success, but after that I started working, and I would just sit there. I would sit at my desk and I would call companies for 8 to 10 hours a day straight. Like, I would just wake up and I'd start calling, and I'd call and I'd call and I'd call, and I'd keep track of everything. And I did that for 2 weeks straight, 8 to 10 hours a day, just calling, sending emails, texting, follow-up, that kind of thing. And after 2 weeks, I had so many roofing jobs that I didn't need to call anymore because I was too busy. And it worked. It worked really well. And so it's a testament to the fact that 10x works. When you take your actions, you take your goals and you 10x them, and then you take your actions and you multiply those by 10 as well. It'll definitely be able to produce results. I think it's interesting. A lot of people, what's that Arnold Schwarzenegger quote? I'm trying to think. I don't have it off the top of my head, but there is this in Arnold Schwarzenegger's autobiography. He tells this story about a college student who he was like giving a guest lecture or something at a college, or I think this was when he was the governor of California, or something like that. And he went into this class, and he was talking to this student. This student was like, how am I supposed to balance going to school and working and having a social life and doing all of these things all at the same time? And Arnold doesn't mince words, dude. He goes in hard on people. And he just said something, I don't have the exact quote, but something to the effect of, where are you using your time? And he kind of went through with this boy and just roasted him for all of the areas in which that he was spending his time that wasn't worth it. And it was just eye-opening for me to see how much time we really have in a day, right? We all have the same 24 hours. Probably close to 8 of those should be spent sleeping. And if you're missing more than, if you're not sleeping for over 25% of the hours between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., your brain classifies you as a shift worker, and really knocks off your chronological clock. So be careful of that. Side note, but it's some Yeah, it's some interesting stuff. Sorry, I'm getting distracted with these comments here. But it's really eye-opening to me to see how much time we have to use. Because there's a lot. We've got quite a lot of time. And the interesting thing is how much we waste, how much time we waste of those 24 hours. So we've got our 8 hours of sleep. That brings us down to 16. And then what are we doing with those 16 waking hours? I think I read some study a couple weeks ago that was saying something like the average teenager spends like 7 or 8 hours a day on a screen or like looking at a screen or something. I was like, that's wild, dude. That's half of the time that you're awake almost, which is nuts. So there's probably where many people's time is going. And maybe if you're not 7 or 8 hours or something, it's still pretty high. But there's a lot of different things and metrics that we can track to make sure that we are using our time as wisely as possible so that we have enough time to actually 10x our actions. I think it's pretty easy to 10x your goals, right? You set your goals and you say, okay, well, I said I was going to read 5 books this year, so maybe I'll just read 50. Or maybe I'll read 25 or 30 or something. Like, you can change the goal pretty quickly. That's just more of a mindset thing. But what's difficult is changing your actions and making sure that you're managing your time well enough to actually focus and take action in the time that you're awake in order to make the most of your life. And I think I'll pause there for a second. Does anyone have any questions about the 10x rule, about how it works, what it is, any background on that, and then we'll get into some ways that we can apply it. Oh, thanks, Weston. Appreciate it. You're a stud too. Yeah, any questions on that? What the 10x rule is? Okay, cool. Let's talk about application. So there's honestly an infinite number of ways, there we go, that the 10x rule can be applied, and it's super specific to the individual. So a couple months ago, I designed a 10-step system that helps you change anything that you want to about yourself within your control, called the life optimization loop. And so that is the specific how. I don't even... Oh, Block Blast? Dude, I've never even played that in my life, but good job. I don't know if 10,000 is high or not. Congrats, Chief. But yeah, so with the life optimization loop, it talks specifically about how to set goals and set habits. So the key is, so you separate your life into 5 different areas. So you've got physical, social, intellectual, spiritual, and financial. And you set a goal, a broad vision even within that goal. That can look like, I want to get in the best shape of my life. That can look like, I want to make the most money I've ever made this year. I want to strengthen my relationship with God or with whatever you believe in more than anything else in this year. And that goal can be set in a year or less time frame. And I don't know what WSP means. This is kind of fun. But yeah, so set that broad vision in whatever of the 5 categories. So physical, social, intellectual, spiritual, and financial. Whichever of the 5 of those you want to change the most in. Set a broad vision within that category, and then pick which of the 5 categories you want to change the most. So for me, right now, the category that I want to change the most is financial. No, this is not a pre-recorded video. This is totally live. I'm broadcasting to you live from Phoenix, Arizona. Yep. This would be funny if it was pre-recorded. Definitely not pre-recorded. If it was pre-recorded, I'd have a better script. But yeah, so once you identify which of the 5 categories you want to change the most in, and you set that broad vision there, then you get into breaking down your habits. And this is where we get back into the 10x rule of 10xing your action, as well as your goals. So you 10x your goals, and then you have to 10x the action to keep up with those new goals, right? So, and when you're doing that, the key is to set your habits and set them in a way that is so specific and so easy that you can't not do them. And the key with that is to give your habits a what, a when, and a where. So one of my habits in the past has been to drink 12 ounces of water before and after every meal while sitting at the dinner table. This was back when I was 17. I was trying to lose some weight. I lost like 20 pounds in 2 months, in part because I was doing that as well. I was running and working out every day, and then cut my portion size in half, all that kind of stuff. Wanted to try to be like Batman, actually. It was pretty fun. But yeah, so I was drinking 12 ounces of water before and after every meal while sitting at the dinner table. That is a scene that is so specific that you can picture it like you're watching a movie in your head, right? So whatever that action looks like to you, craft it in the form of a habit that way. So if you say your broad vision is to read 50 books this year, that's great. And that could very easily be a 10x goal. But you need to 10x your actions in order to achieve that goal by putting habits in this form. So if we're going to stick on that, my favorite Arnold quote is "Get to the chopper." That is a good one. But yeah, if you were going to, if we're sticking to that idea, having your habit or your action to 10x as a what, when, and where is going to be the best way for you to actually get it done. So if your what would be, it's going to depend on the person, but let's say you're going to read 30 minutes a day. And then your when would be up to you. Again, this is totally dependent on the person and the goals that you want to set, but between 7 and 7:30 p.m. Or some other time. And then the where would be sitting in your lazy boy in the living room, right? Like it's so specific that you can picture that scene taking place in your mind. And that's the key to being able to create habits that stick, is that you give them a super specific what, when, and where, and you make them so specific that you can visualize them like you're watching a movie in your head. And then there's a good quote from the poet Henry David Thoreau where he just says, simplify, simplify, simplify. He wants to go back to 1975, timed by 10 equals his Block Blast score. Calbra, I ain't ever played Block Blast before, so I don't know what you're on, but good job for getting that high of a score. This is funny. But yeah, so you craft that habit in a way that your actions will be 10x what they were previously. Because a lot of us oftentimes will set goals or set habits, and then we don't actually stick to them. So most of the time, I mean, I'm sure y'all have had those New Year's resolutions where you do them for a couple weeks and then they die off. We're not about that here. We're about self-improvement that actually sticks. So being able to craft those habits in that way. And then the key is going to be adjusting as needed. That's step 7 in the life optimization loop. So adjusting as needed means that when you set your habit and you start trying to implement it and then it messes up or something goes wrong or you fail to complete it for whatever reason, I usually say, okay, if it's 2 to 3 times within a week that I've messed up this habit, then I need to reevaluate the habit itself and say, okay, I don't think this was easy enough for me. This wasn't simple enough for me, etc. Because literally, when you're thinking about change, the only thing that you should be worried about is building momentum. And however easy a habit needs to be, an action that you're trying to take needs to be in order to start building momentum, you start there. If that's you want to read a book and you haven't read in 10 years and all you can handle is 1 paragraph a day, that's fine. That's fine. Figure out where you're at and start there and then build over time. The key is to do the small, boring things every day consistently. You want to win at life? That's how you do it. Do the small, boring, simple things that no one else wants to do because they're small and boring and simple. You do those consistently over time and you will win. This live stream is going to be a perfect example of this. I'm going to do this consistently over time and I'm going to win. How much time? Don't know. Frankly, don't care. It's all about consistency and building that momentum. And that is how you 10x your actions, because when you do the same thing over and over and over again over time consistently, you will get better at it and you will be able to increase the influence that your actions have. Pretty simple. Oh, no. Someone's dad left to get the milk in the comments, guys. This is sad. Ooh, Atomic Habits. Yep, that's a really good one. Great book. That will be get input into the self-improvement school here in a couple weeks. Once the Life Optimization Loop, my book that I'm writing, once that gets released, I think I'll be doing Atomic Habits about 5 or 6 weeks after that, so that way we can talk about it during step 5, which is talking about designing a small and simple daily habit. So we'll get really, really in depth on how exactly to do that. But yeah. Awesome. Okay. So, that's the key. So 10xing, the 10x rule, how to 10x your life. And Grant my homie Grant Cardone here, he says that the only difference between success and failure is this rule, is the 10x rule, right? I'm not sure how much I necessarily agree with that from a personal perspective, but the principle is definitely true and does apply, that when you 10x your goals and then you 10x the action that you are taking in order to get to those goals, the result will be far beyond what you would have experienced if you did not do those things. Essentially, the 10x rule is the same sort of thing where it talks about how you shoot for the moon and land amongst the stars. Except I'm pretty sure that the stars are farther away from the moon, so we're going to say shoot for the stars and land on the moon. Bro, I don't know if this Cowbra dude is trying to troll me in the comments or what, but it's freaking funny. But yeah, so having those actions be 10x is going to be the most critical piece of the puzzle. And you do that by setting habits in the ways that we discussed, with giving them a specific what, when, and where, and making sure that they're so easy and simple that you can't not do them. And then once you've mastered one habit, you stack another, you stack another, you stack another, and then ultimately your growth and your change compounds. And that's what the Self-Improvement That Sticks series, this live video series that I will be doing in perpetuity, is all about. Is about creating self-improvement that sticks, and change that works. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be so for real. I have no clue who's on this right now or not. I have no clue whether I missed comments or not. But this is actually pretty fun. I'm enjoying this. I hope you guys are too. We're going to come back. Okay, before I wrap things up, so all of these are going to be roughly between 40 to 45 minute live streams, and each day we're going to be going over a different principle from the book, and each week we will have a new self-improvement book that I've read the previous week. So last week I was reading the 10x rule. Next week's book is going to be Never Split the Difference. Oh, wait, hold on. I've got it over here. Here we go. Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Absolutely phenomenal book. Absolutely phenomenal. If you have not read that book, that is a must read for anyone, especially if you're a business owner. And also, as a side note, if you don't want to change in life, if you don't want to become a better version of yourself, become the best version of yourself, then this is not the live stream for you. This live stream is about bettering yourself and about becoming who you are meant to be, your full potential. It's going to take a while. But I'm a very firm believer in the fact that no pain is no gain. All right. Nice. And it's unfortunate, maybe, but also fortunate at the same time. The hardest things, the things that are worth the most in life, are also the hardest to accomplish. And so if you can just do the small things over and over and over again, the boring things, the simple things, the things that no one wants to do, and you're going to hear me say this over and over and over as we're going through this series and going through these different books, is that just doing the small, boring daily things, like that's all that matters. That's all. That's going to be the number one factor in your ability to change, in your ability to improve yourself in a way that actually sticks. And doing those, setting those habits in the ways that we've discussed today is going to be the key for you guys. And if you're just joining on, we'll discuss it again. Just hop back on the live stream. This is going to come up pretty often because it's pretty key. But yeah, let me, before we wrap up here, does anyone have any questions on what the 10x rule is, how it applies, how you can implement it in your life in order to change? Let's see if I'm trying to check the comments here, see if there's anything there. Oh, what's up, Scott? You're coming in towards the end. I'll be live again tomorrow at it's 9 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Going live every day between 6 and 7 p.m. PST. Each day we're going to be discussing a different key aspect from a book that I read. This week was The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. Next week is going to be Never Split the Difference. If there is not any other, why am I lactose intolerant? Dude, that is a doctor question. I am not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. I cannot help you with that one. I sincerely apologize. Good sir. But yeah, unless anyone's got any other questions, if you do, drop them in the chat. And yeah, should be good. Before we wrap up, I've got one other thing to let you guys know about. So if you had any value that you found in this, I have a self-improvement school. It's the Self-Improvement That Sticks school. You can find it. I'll throw a QR code up here. You should be able to see that. And then I'll drop, oh, yep, there's the link there in the chat as well. Let me pull the chat back up. Yep, you can click that link there, and that'll take you over to the Self-Improvement That Sticks school. Every live stream that I will make on every book that I read will be uploaded there. So if you want to make sure you're not missing out on any of the ways that you can change, any of the habits that you can implement, any of the actions you can take, I'm only charging $7,000 a year for it. No, I'm just kidding. It's like less than one Chipotle a month, so you're chilling. But super affordable. We want to make sure that the keys to change and self-improvement are getting out there for everyone in an affordable way. So go ahead, click that link, click the QR code, hop on over there, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go upload this recording to it right now, and y'all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. PST because I am following my own advice, and we're going to do this consistently and see what happens.